Hi, this is Mato. Welcome to my online chess lecture. In this video I will show you a game between Anatoly Karpov and Viktor Korchnoi. This is a game from Karpov-Korchnoi candidates final, played in Moscow in 1974. Anatoly Karpov had white pieces and he started with e4. Viktor Korchnoi played c5, the Sicilian defense. Knight to f3, d6, d4. C takes on d4, knight takes on d4, knight to f6, knight to c3, and now g6, the dragon variation of the Sicilian defense. Bishop to e3, bishop to g7, f3, going for the Yugoslav attack. Knight to c6, queen to d2, with a standard plane to castle queenside, to push the h-pawn to open the h-file, and to exchange the dark square bishops. Something like that. This game later became an inspiration for all the dragon slayers. Korchnoi castle at kingside, bishop to c4, bishop to d7, h4, rook to c8, bishop to b3, knight to e5, and the Karpov castle at queenside, knight to c4, forking the queen and the bishop on e3. Bishop takes on c4, rook takes on c4, h5, sacrificing the pawn to open the file. Knight takes on h5, g4, knight to f6, knight from d to e2, queen to a5, bishop to h6, bishop takes on h6, queen takes on h6, rook from f to c8, white to move. What would you do in this position if you had white pieces? If white plays g5, attacking the knight goes to h5, and if rook takes on h5, g takes on h5, queen takes on h5, black queen goes to e5, and after rook to h1, queen to g7, and black is okay. Back to our game. Karpov played rook to d3, rook from 4 to c5, preventing g5 pawn push. But now comes a surprise. Karpov played g5 anyway. Rook takes on g5. What did Karpov have in mind when he sacrificed the second pawn? What would you do in this position if you had white pieces? Karpov played rook to d5, what a move. Black must take with the rook. If knight takes on d5, then queen takes on h7 check, and after king to f8, queen to h8 checkmate. So Korchnoi played rook takes on d5, knight takes on d5, threatening knight takes on e7, rook to e8, white to move. How would you continue? What is the best move for white in this position? Karpov played knight from e to f4. Let's take it back. If knight takes on f6, pawn takes knight, queen takes on h7 check, king to f8, queen to h8 check, king to e7, and black king escapes. Back to our game. Knight from e to f4, the best move. Black to move. Let's play a random move for black. If something like a6, then knight takes on f6, check, and after pawn takes knight, queen takes on h7 check, king to f8, knight to d5, preventing the escape of the black king and winning. Back to our game. So Korchnoi played bishop to c6, and knight takes on f6 is no longer winning. This is a very important moment of the game. How should white continue? Like I said, knight takes on f6 is no longer winning, because after pawn takes knight, and knight to d5, bishop takes knight, and black is winning. But let's try one more thing. What if instead of knight to d5, knight to h5? So in this position, if knight to h5, threatening checkmate, how should black continue? what would you do? Please pause and find the best defense for black. If pawn takes knight, then rook to g1 check and white is winning. So what is the best move for black? Queen to g5 check is the best move. After queen takes queen and pawn takes queen, white has knight to f6 check. But after king to g7, knight takes rook, bishop takes knight, and black is fighting back. Black pawns on the king side should not be underestimated. Back to our game. But in this position, Karpov played another very cool move. e5, attacking the knight. Black to move, bishop takes on d5 was played. If d takes on e5, then knight takes on f6 check, and after pawn takes knight, Karpov intended to play what move? What would you do? This is what Karpov had in mind. Knight to h5, threatening queen to g7 checkmate. Queen to g5 check is no longer possible because of the pawn on e5. And after g takes on h5, rook to g1 check, and after king to h8, queen to g7 checkmate. Back to our game. So after e5, we have bishop takes on d5, pawn takes knight, threatening queen to g7 checkmate, pawn takes pawn, queen takes on h7 check, king to f8, white played a move and black resigned, and the move is, what would you do? Karpov played queen to h8 and Korchnoi resigned in view of this continuation. King to e7, knight takes on d5 check, queen takes on d5, rook to e1 check, king to d7, queen takes rook check. Many of Karpov's intentions became understandable to his opponents only when salvation is no longer possible. These are the words of Mikhail Tal. Have you heard of the Karpov's method? Please click on the link below the video and download the Karpov method right now.